Today we're going to take a look at another state for 2024. It's not expected to be competitive, but we're going to take a look at the land of enchantment. That's going to be New Mexico. So on the left side, we've got the presidential shifts between 2012 and 16. And if you go to the southwest and look at New Mexico, there's kind of a mix here of red and blue. So both sides with some gains there. But if you look at the right map, those are the same shifts between 16 and 20. And this time, New Mexico does have some red, but there's a lot more blue lines moving up and toward the left. So this state has 5 electoral votes. It hasn't voted for a Republican for president since 2004. Since then, its status as a competitive state has gone down the drain. So let's see how we got to this point. Let's get some recent history and start back in 2012. There we've got Barack Obama winning his second term with 53% of the vote. Mitt Romney pulled in about 10% less at just under 43. So a double-digit win for Obama. It's narrower than his first win in 2008, but massively wider than when Bush won it in 2004. So let's pull in a little closer on this county map. And as you can see, we've got a mix of red and blue. Now, this state does have some very sparsely populated counties, so it's best to focus on where the population is. So you could start in the most populous county, that is Bernalillo, and it has the city of Albuquerque. It's not that huge of a county, but Obama did win it by more than 15 points. Now, the second most populous county is going to be down here at the border. That's Doña Ana County, and that has the city of Las Cruces. And that's another county Obama won easily by double digits. Another county with some population is going to be Santa Fe. That has the state capital. And back then, it's already dark blue. Obama won it by a landslide. West of here and north of Bernalillo, we have Sandoval County. That's a county that has gained some population over the past decade. Now, between there's this tiny county of Los Alamos. It's light blue and much more higher educated. Now, if you're looking for a red county that has some sort of population, that's going to be in the northwest, San Juan County. And that voted for Mitt Romney by about 28 points. So as usual with most states, the urban and suburban counties are a lot bluer, and the less populated counties, as we see in the southeast, those are much redder. Now, we can't go over every county, but with some of those out of the way, let's jump ahead 4 more years to 2016. In that election, Hillary wins the state by more than 8 points. She's over 48%, but that's about a 5-point reduction from Obama. Meanwhile, Trump is at an even 40%, which is almost 3% worse than Romney. So we've got both Hillary and Trump losing support in this election. Where did it go? That's going to be in the third-party support, led by Gary Johnson with over 9%. And in case you might have forgotten, Johnson is a former 2-term governor of this state, so naturally his support should be higher than other states. But if you add up all the third-party support, it's clearly over 10%. Now let's look at some of these counties. Let's start in Bernalillo. This time Hillary winning it by about 18 points. Next door in Santa Fe, Hillary winning this one huge by about 51. In Sandoval, she gets it by about 3 points. Tucked away in Los Alamos County, we've got Hillary winning it by about 21. In the northwest in San Juan, Trump won that massively by over 32 points. And down in Doña Ana County, Hillary winning that county with almost 54%. So the third-party vote here took a little bit more away from Hillary than Trump. But let's jump ahead 4 more years to the last election in 2020. Here we've got Joe Biden winning it by over 10%. He's at 54.3 to Trump's 43.5. So Trump is up 3.5, but this time Biden is up even more. He's up 5.5. And this time the third-party vote is significantly less. Joe Jorgensen this time was the leader with only about 1.4%. Now we'll come back to the counties in just a moment, but if we go down here and sort the counties by the total number of votes cast, we can see Biden won the 4 most populous. 3 of those were by double digits, including Santa Fe, which was by a massive 54. The most populous county of Bernalillo also shifted significantly toward Biden. He did more than 6% better. Trump's best county was again San Juan, where he won it by an impressive 28, but that was reduced from 2016. Now let's look at some of the trends in these counties. For that, we're going to get on Ballotpedia. So this time the shading is not the margins. This will just show you how often they voted for the Democrat or the Republican in the past 3 elections. So let's start in Bernalillo. And this county has almost a third of the statewide population, so every percentage point here could matter. But going back to 2012, Biden is doing significantly better than both Obama and Hillary, while Trump is doing worse than Romney, but a little bit better than he did in 16. In Santa Fe County, Biden is up 5 points over Hillary and about 2.5 over Obama, while Trump is about the same as Romney. In the tiny county of Los Alamos, Trump did better than he did in 16, but about about 10 points worse than Romney. Meanwhile, Biden is up about 10 points over Hillary. In Sandoval, this was only a 2 or 3 point race in 16. The last time the gap widened and is more than what it was back in 12. Down at the border in Doña Ana County, there's not a significant difference in margin between 16 and 20. So all those counties were blue, but the best county for Trump is San Juan. And in that one, the margins are actually pretty similar to what they were back in 2012. Now you could take a look at some of these other counties. Valencia is one I haven't mentioned yet. That one does have a little bit of population, and Obama won it in 12. Then Trump flipped it pretty big in 16, and then in 20. Trump even slightly expanded his lead there. He's getting close to 10%. So that could be a bright spot for Trump, but there's just no way that's going to be able to compete with the deep blue vote in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Now some of these other lower population counties, they were already deep red back in the days of Romney. For the most part, as with most rural counties, Trump has accelerated the trends and made these counties even redder. Most of these Trump is over 60%, but you can see in this county, he's even close to 80. So those are some of the counties. In order to be competitive here, Trump would really have to cut into some of these margins in the urban and suburban areas. Now, if you want another way to take a look at some of these shifts, we can go back to 2016. And this will start off showing you the county margins, but you can also zoom all the way in and take a look at the precinct level. So if we pull in on Santa Fe, you can see Hillary's getting most of these precincts with over 80% of the vote. Now we can do the same thing for 2020. And again, you can see a lot of red and a lot of blue. But this time, if we click here, we can take a look at the shifts between 2016 and 20. That changes things. And if we pull all the way in and take a look at the precincts for Albuquerque, for the most part, we see a lot of blue on here. There is a little bit of red, but it can't compete with all this blue. So the suburbs here, it's what we've seen in many other states. Biden was able to make gains here, and that put the state out of reach for Trump. Now, you never know what's going to happen next time. Some of these precincts could start to get a little bit more red, but Biden is looking to maximize turnout in these types of places. Now, if you want even another way to take a look at some of these shifts, we can get on this map that has the red and the blue arrows. These are the shifts between 16 and 20. The bigger the arrow, the bigger the shift. And you can see it's pretty much a mix, but you can also click on any one of these arrows to get a more detailed breakdown. Let's take a look at Sandoval County. Here between 16 and 20, both Biden and Trump gained raw vote, but Biden gained more. He was at almost 13,000, while Trump was over 8,200. Now, the big factor here is the reduction in third-party vote. It sank over 77%, which was a raw reduction of 10.7. That means there was only 2.4% third-party vote in this county. So between all the shifts, including the third parties, both Biden and Trump gained here. But Biden went up a lot more by over 8%, while Trump was at about 2.5%. So you could do the same thing for every other county. But let's move on to turnout. Now, overall nationally, it was up across the board. If you focus on New Mexico, you can hover over any of these arrows to take a look at the changes between 16 and 20. There were a couple of counties where it actually did go down, but for the most part, it was up double digits. Now, the other thing that might matter is going to be the turnout with specific demographics. If you get on this 2016 exit polling, this will show you the shifts with different subgroups, including age, race, religion, education, etc. Now, they don't have a specific page on here for New Mexico, but New Mexico does have a large Hispanic population. That could be one key demographic to take a look at in this upcoming election. But also, education has been another dividing line politically. And if you look at this map, this will show you the counties that have attained a bachelor's degree or higher. Now, nationally, it's somewhere around the mid-30s. The darker colors are more highly educated. And for this state, you could see it's concentrated mostly around the Albuquerque and Santa Fe area. Most notably, that very small county of Los Alamos. That population is extremely highly educated. It's close to 70% that have a 4-year degree or higher. And typically, we've seen trends where lower educated voters are more favorable for Trump and higher educated are going to be favorable for Biden. The rest of the state does have a drop-off in college graduates. Now, if you want to see where the populations have been shifting over the past decade, here's a county map that shows you where the growth is. It is a few years old, but it gives you an idea of where things are happening. One other thing to look at here are the changes in population by age. And you can see there's a population boom here, but it's only with those age 65 and over. So New Mexico looks like it does have an aging population. All that could factor in politically. We'll have to see what happens. The last thing we're going to do is take a look at how accurate the polling was back in 2020. So Biden won the state by just under 11 points. If you look at the polling aggregates, they weren't off by too much. Biden was up 11.5 to 13. So probably a slight 1 to 1.5 point overestimation of support for Biden. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad when you compare it to other states. It's also not a state that gets a ton of polling, given that it's not expected to be competitive. And some of these polls are definitely better than others, but all things considered, it's one of the better states we've seen. So what is the conclusion here for New Mexico? Well, it might be hard to believe that this state did vote for George W. Bush back in 2004. Ever since then, it's been firmly in the column of the Democrats. I'd say it's very unlikely the state even gets competitive this time. Now, a lot might depend on the third-party vote, but I could easily see this getting down to a single-digit margin for Biden. I'm sure there's thoughts about the Hispanic trends moving sharply toward the right, but I don't see them moving that sharply that quickly for this state. If you look at the other statewide offices, Democrats control all of them. They did have a two-term Republican governor here in Susana Martinez, but she left office a while ago, and the GOP has not really done anything since. They have been gerrymandered out of one of their 3 U.S. House seats, but overall the Trump brand has just not resonated with voters in this state. There are pockets of strong Trump supporters here, that's for sure, but where all the population is in the cities and the suburbs, that's all going to add up to make this an easy win for Biden. Given he's doing even better than Obama did in some places, it's going to be tough to imagine Trump making significant gains. Now, anything could happen. There could always be a shift that we just don't see coming, but for right now, this state's status as a swing state feels like ancient history. So that's a little bit of an overview of the recent political history for New Mexico. So let me know in the comments, what do you think the trends are going to do to this state? Is Biden going to win it by over 10 again, or is it going to go several points toward Trump? And what do you think the outlook here is in the long term? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.